Hello.
Hi, everybody. Ah, hope you're all
So,
having a wonderful day.
I like now that I get to chat to you, the chillest possible day. And this is a weird one because we've got a nice short one, and we're doing this today and tomorrow, so we can go ahead and have a nice laid back little stream, and most likely give folks some time back at the end of this to work on their projects or hear me out, rest.
Oh, resting sounds good.
In
Um,
the description
if
for
you
this, we're told, oh, please.
go ahead, go ahead.
That we're going to be learning with DOM manipulation, which sounds scary, but I think this means manipulating, changing the HTML. And we
We're going to be continuing to do some DOM manipulation. We're going to learn some modern JavaScript concepts like object.freeze and some others.
oh,
That sounds
switch, switch,
scary.
switch. I'm hyped for
But
switch.
we, no, we did switch the other day.
We did. No,
Didn't
did
we?
we?
Pretty sure we did for the music player. You know what? I'm not sure.
Learners back us. Oh, wait, because we had do you know what? Maybe. If not, the
Date
nice
formatter.
date format. Oh, that was the day I wasn't here.
That's
I
why
went to the movies.
I love it. Um, yeah. So we're gonna be doing some football team cards here. Shall I show us this HTML and CSS that's already been written for us? If that sounds good. Oh, yeah. Let's take a quick look here. So we can see here we've got a bunch of stuff already written with a bunch of football players on it. I'm gonna skip right ahead to our HTML. So we've got each one, our main element with some team stats. So team
And
with a empty span. Yes?
if learners so you've gotta do this to, like, practice, but if learners get through this and they're like, "Not that fussed about football," these could just as easily be taking it back to the RPG game, they could just as easily be stat
Uh-huh.
cards for your RPG players.
Your
You would
favorite cartoon characters?
your favorite cartoon characters. There's nothing wrong with being into Argentinian football players, but I'm the only person in the UK who's a little bit meh about football. And if you're with me, we could do different things when we refactor.
Yeah. So cool. We've got a series of cards. Just gonna keep scrolling here. Cards, 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 cards. And then here at the bottom, we've got our footer and we import our script. So cool. Let's start right away with that script. Shall I start writing some code here?
Yeah. So, sorry if you hear weird squeaking sounds, my cats are all trying to murder each other, which is
Oh
really none
no.
of my business. No, they've got a little Lord of the Flies thing going. That's between them and them. So team name is going to be set to the document, the HTML element that has the ID of team. Cool, cool, cool. We've
Correct.
done
And
this.
it's
This
that
can't hurt
span
us.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to get me doing that like at work.
I already do it at work.
Okay. This feels very, we can, do you want to do them? Want to skip them? These feels like what we've just done. We
Idea of
could
year.
copy and paste them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that. So we'll be doing the same here as our team name. We'll do it for type of sport. That's sport, not sort, sport. Then we'll do the same for World Cup year, which is just year. Does that look good? It does.
Everything's
Fantastic. Fantastic.
fine.
Yeah. Now, we will next be
Okay.
same thing.
This is the same thing. This is I mean, I'd still copy and paste, but you're a better person than I am.
Element by ID head dash coach. Okay, we are doing a lot of these. I am gonna
Right? That's why I
clear.
said because we went back and forth. Obviously, we talk about this before we get on the air. And I was like, no, we're gonna go so fast. We're gonna give people back so much time. Pat, pat.
Cool. So if you see these, just know that while this boot camp and free code camp are free, so free code camps themselves are a non-registered profit, so they do depend on donations if you want to, but only if you can, and of course want to. You can give them a couple of dollars a month, but you can also come back later when you're
Right?
yeah.
That's the
So I'm
big
just gonna
thing,
click
is if you don't have the money, don't spend money you don't have. Okay, one more const. Okay.
players drop down list. Oh, that's gonna be this one here. Nice. Drop down list. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
We're gonna build the
Oh,
data
hold on.
structure. Oh,
Yeah. No, go ahead.
okay, the data structure. Is this the first time we've talked about data structures?
Oh, as a concept,
As a concept, I think.
yeah, but we've
So
worked
here
with
what
them
I think it
before.
means is we're gonna make an object. Yeah,
Correct.
and an object is a data structure. And let me go and grab an
So cool. We've made our first we've made our empty object here. And yeah, we've actually already been working with data structures. Arrays are like the way we structure arrays, data structures.
yeah.
Objects is the structure of the data. Let's keep going. So we got one called team. We're setting a property of team call with the value of Argentina. Cool. Pat, pat. Next, we're going to set the sport to football.
For other Americans, just go with
I was
football.
just thinking the same.
Oh, for other folks from the US, because like Argentinians, Americans on the continental concept. 1986. Did Argentina win in 86? Is probably what there's somebody watching right now who just yelled at the screen. But I
I
will
think
assume
no, I don't know.
that there was something very meaningful in Argentinian football in 1986. If you hear a tap, tap, tap in the background, that's me being like, oh, look.
Is World Cup? Oh yeah, here we go. Set to true. So it is indeed. Fantastic. Pat, pat.
Pat, pat.
And below that, we'll add another key called head coach with a value of an empty object inside that object. So now we've got an object inside an object.
Okay. This is the first time we've done this.
I don't think it is. I could
It's
be wrong.
not.
But
Okay.
yeah,
But we could put
could
an
be wrong.
object inside an object and it won't hurt anything.
Absolutely.
Ouch. Bro, stop it. Not you're fine. Other bro.
So you know what I'm going to do, because this is getting quite complex and I'd like to have more of an overview. I'm going to console log my favorite football team. So if I take a look at that here, we're going to see that we've got this property, this property, this property, this property, and the head coach property, whose value is in and of itself an object with coach name and
Okay.
matches.
And this is why we might want to embed objects within objects.
Uh-huh. Correct. Yeah, let's keep going.
Sorry, I'm fighting a little tiny battle at the same time.
Oh my goodness, I just saw him. Oh,
Look, it's just like a ham that refuses to comply with schedules. Everything's fine. Sorry to derail y'all.
hey everyone, I'm so sorry. Can you all still hear me?
We can hear you just fine and nothing is wrong.
I don't know what happened. So suddenly, since my microphone disconnected. Anyway,
No,
here we
I
are.
blame Marquis, worst cat. So
Best cat.
I'm gonna tell the others. Okay, so players are gonna be an array in here, and that makes sense.
Yep.
So we're gonna be able to store the players in this array and probably move them around as we move the cards around, maybe?
I would assume so. We're just figuring out. We're just laying out our
We're just
data.
Oh, so when we talk about data structures, this just means like the shape of our data. It doesn't have to mean anything big and scary. It's just how we're
Correct.
formatting our data.
So our players is an array, and in our array, we're going to have an object
We can put
with
objects in
these
our array?
values. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm glad they're giving this to us bit by bit because this seems needlessly complex. Marquis, have you
So
ever
we've got.
used a object in array, sir? Sorry.
He probably wants to join in the conversation.
He probably wants to get off my desk.
Okay, so here, let's console log again because I want to take a look. My favorite football team. I hope I remember that name of that variable. I did. Okay, so this team consists of a team name, I would assume, sport, year, is World Cup winner, the coach,
True.
and an array of players, of which there is only one so far, which is an object made up of name, position, number, is captain, and no nickname.
Oh. For folks who are into football, is the nickname an important part of this?
From my memory, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. And Mitch points out this isn't just an object in an array, it's an object in an array in an object. So we've got like conceptual recursion.
Ooh, and now we're going to be adding our second player.
Okay. So this feels a little bit less weird right now. I'm a little less freaked out by it.
Yeah, so there's a second player, midfielder, number 2, not a captain, no nickname for them. I feel like in Latin American football, people had, at least the Chilean team back when I was a kid, had a lot of nicknames.
Ooh.
Pat, pat. So, aha. Now, what we're going to do is make it so that our object can no longer be modified. But what does that mean? Right now, if I wanted to, let me just console log my, oh my goodness, I'm going to copy this variable name. It is very long. Check it out. There's my favorite football
Objection,
team.
objection. Slightly
What's up?
illegal to have football mean football and then have the American spelling for favorite. So like,
No, you're right. I was like, oh, it's got to be like that somewhere, but nah. No. Cool. So, the thing about this object, even though it's a const, let me scroll up. Even though it's a const, that it doesn't mean that we can't, just because we can't reassign that variable, we can still modify its values. So, for example, my favorite football team dot, I don't know, team equals, and I'm just going to say this for the sake of like an example, I'm going to put in Chile, right? So you can see now when I console log my favorite football team, the team is now Chile.
okay.
But if I use object.freeze and pass to it as an argument my favorite football team, now look at what's happening. I'm getting an error.
So this is like, I'm so sorry for non-native speakers, but this is like adding the concept of hella to a const. So like, hey, for real, for real, for real, don't change this. I absolutely mean that we cannot change this. So
Correct.
freeze just means freeze this data in place. I'm going to come get it if I want to view it, but you can't change this. You can't update it. If it was a let, you can't reassign it if it was a let. If it's a const, you can't add to it. Just nope. This is what it is.
Correct. This object can no longer be modified.
Okay. So we can never change our mind about our favorite football team.
Correct. So we'll pat and keep going. So the next thing to do is access that.
Okay, so
I'm going to make a new variable called
sport is set to my favorite football team dot sport.
Yep. Now you might be thinking, well, this seems kind of redundant, but Yeah, we're just assigning that to that. We're just getting so that we every time we want to use that sport, we don't have to write out my favorite football team dot sport.
Yeah.
We just use an extra variable, which I'm a fan of.
And Burke makes a good point here to say, hey, the same way that a const is permanent and unchanging ish, that when we talk about an object freeze, we mean no for real. Don't change this object. Yeah, I think so. Like
Correct.
locking the value. I think that's a really good way to put it. Okay.
Now we've done
Oh,
the
we're doing
same
the
for
same
team.
thing.
Fantastic. We'll keep going. I'm excited about where this is going.
Speed.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Oh, Jess, we're about to learn about
Oh
object
no, not object
destructuring.
notation. Oh no.
No, no, this is
Um,
amazing. Friends, trust me, this is great. Go on, go on.
no, I was just making my peace with what's about to happen because you look really excited and I'm less excited.
It's so good,
So
Jess. So say we want to get the values out of an object, but instead of having to do const sport equals blah, object dot sport, const team equals object dot team, we can use a shorthand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment these lines out. We're going to use a shorthand called object destructuring. So instead of writing const sport equals my favorite team dot sport, const team equals my favorite football team dot team, what if we could do it in one line? Well, guess what? We can. Check this out. Const, then we'll write an object. Yeah. Sport, comma, team is equals to I'm gonna copy paste that, my favorite football team. This is the same as this.
so good thing, bad thing. Good thing. This, at least to me, feels like a really graceful way to write this. Bad
Yes.
thing, JavaScript's done this thing to us again where we're like, hey, you've just gotten really comfortable with the syntax, this grammar to make this thing happen. Now we're going to give you a different way. And
Yep.
when you go and look at live projects, it could be either. Oh,
Yep. I if I were our learners right now, I would probably be asking, well, which one's the best to do? Which one should I do now? I like this one more. Do I have to do the other? You already know what I'm gonna say.
oh, is it to do what's in your heart? They both do the same thing. Like they both result in the same functional,
Kristen's
not
asking a
fun.
valid question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, but like, I think it doesn't matter. Like it's just what you like best.
Exactly. So Kristen's asking here, does it have to go in the same order as the object or how smart is it? Great question. Here's the thing. If you remember the structure of the my favorite football team object, let's go up real quick.
I love your joy.
Team comes before sport.
So it's
So
okay that we mix those around.
the order doesn't matter. What matters is that because you notice we're naming these variables after the key. So what if I put in players? Still works. But let's put in a key that doesn't exist.
Banana.
Oh,
It's chile.
banana.
Yeah,
Whoopsie.
it's a banana.
So now let's look. Let's console log sport. Keep an eye on the wait. Y'all can see, right? Yeah. So sport is football. Cool. Team Argentina. Cool. Players. Cool. Banana. Whoopsie. Banana. Undefined.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here with this banana business.
Exactly. So Cesium says, I thought that the object properties don't really have a concept of order. They don't.
Because, and Mitch makes a good point, order, we don't really have to worry about order with object because they've got keys. So if
Yeah.
we're referring to a key in an object, we're really telling this const, or we're telling the function, we're telling the piece of the code that's going to this object, hey, go look for this key. Cool. Oh, Kristen. So name your keys well.
Very important.
This is fine. Everything's fine. I was very ready for this to be scary and bad, and this is hardly even scary or bad.
Mehmet's asking, can we give them different names? Nope. You want to match the ones to your keys.
Because we're not really giving them names here. We're saying, "Oh, go look here and get me what this is."
Put it in a variable while you're at it, please.
I mean, you could go
Exactly.
change both of them at the same time, but
True.
yeah. If we change sport in the object to say banana, we could then refer to banana.
There we go. We'll do year and players, just as I was explaining in the previous step. So
This is
got
a
that.
nice one to give us after that project. This is or it's nicer because you're driving. Okay.
But ooh, this gets a little more complicated, doesn't it? It might feel scary, but check it out.
Because we
Const
gotta
coach. Yeah.
but don't we have to get it from outside of the other object? So the coach name object is inside the my favorite football team object? Or it's
Yep.
inside the
So my favorite football team has an object inside of it called head coach.
Okay.
So what I can do is coach name equals my favorite football team dot head coach.
Okay. And this is something I might have guessed. So, oh, is it the dot because it's the head coach belonging to my favorite football team?
Yep.
Okay. I might have just guessed that to see if it worked. How often do deadly serious professional programmers do that? Just say, "Oh, I'm just going to try this syntax I know and see if it's the right one."
Monica's got a question for us. Why doesn't this work? Um, why doesn't this work? So, I mean, you can't do that because head coach dot coach name is not the name of a key, Monica. However, because your question is super valid, what if I did it this way? Sorry. I think this works. Let me console log coach name. It does.
What a good question. And while we're doing good questions, Cesium's like, okay, but how is this different than us doing the const coach name without the braces? Like this does the same thing as us saying const coach name equals. It's just a different syntax, right?
Yes, it's a different
Hey.
syntax. So const coach name is equals to my favorite football team dot head coach dot coach name is equivalent to const coach
Oh,
name
we've got to
equals
everything's fine.
all good. Oh, hold on. Oh, I was blocking, wasn't I? Yeah.
Oh no, nothing is wrong. Everything's fine. Sorry, I'm in a very good mood. It's very annoying.
I love it. As you get, so these are equivalent cesium.
Oh, but like at least in this case, the Wiggly Baby version, which is definitely not called that. It's definitely called the
Curly braces?
object destructuring.
Yes.
Uh, but in this case, and it's not always necessarily true, I don't think, but in this case, the object destructuring syntax is shorter and a little bit like snappier.
Yeah. Especially if you're getting a lot of values.
Yeah.
Cool. You know what? I bet, Pat, by the way, I bet they're going to show us how to do that. Nope, never mind. Cool. So type of sport dot text content is sport. We've done this a bunch of times. There we go. Cool.
But even if we've done it a bunch of times, there's still like that day where your brain's like, "What? What?"
Every day for me.
Oh, and
So,
like team this is gonna be the exact same thing, I bet.
mhm.
Do you know, I like this. This feels nice and okay, so this is what it talked about when we said we were gonna be doing some DOM manipulation, is we are saying, "Hey, look, go," because before we were mostly injecting things into little divs, and here, still divs,
Yep,
but it feels much more flowy with the page. It's, like, less visually blocked off than it was when we did in other projects.
absolutely. So let's check our code. Hey, pat pat.
I'm gonna be cruel. I'm gonna be monstrous and ask folks if they have any questions, because if we keep going, we're just gonna have to do this whole thing and then have nothing to do tomorrow. Which
There we go.
Oh, look at that. This is very emotionally satisfying. Let's do
Oh,
one more.
yeah.
And if folks have any questions at all, and it could be about the project as well, or it can just be like, hey, Ramon, how'd you get so good at JavaScript? Why are you so good at things? Jess, why is your cattle out on the desk? Really anything in your heart.
So we just defined a new function called set player cards, which is going to be used to interact with this filter teammates drop-down menu. So we've defined our empty arrow function
And
and
you've done that with the arrow function just because we've done arrow functions a couple of times, and it's going to hurt us a lot less now. We've done it. We've
yeah,
seen it. Not scary. No, nope. Well, tomorrow, tomorrow,
tomorrow.
tomorrow, tomorrow. So this was a much whizzier, much simpler one. And really, we wanted to do shorter streams today because I know that first project was. I do see a question. It's really, really important, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. But I did want to say, and I will ask folks individually if we could show them off later. There's no hurry. We do not expect people to be done with the projects yet. I'm not done with my project yet, but I'm seeing people do weird and creative stuff with their palindrome checker. And I love that people are posting them
Yes.
before they're done. I know somebody did one with like a 3-panel layout, which was really exciting. Somebody did one with like an oracle cat. Like, oh, is it Missy or Minnie? Minnie will tell you if your word is a palindrome. Oh, I think one thing that's easy to get away from is that this is supposed to be creative. It's so doing the lessons, team name, team. But with the project, please get as weird as you are in your hearts. We've
I
got just
love it.
one question, and it's for you. Hey, Ramon, how did you get so good at JavaScript?
Honestly, I taught it.
Oh, so
I taught
so
it.
that's great. So as y'all are learning this is a really, really good time to teach a friend, learn with a friend. Amazing. Oh, we've got like actual questions as well, and not me just me bullying you. I'm gonna say so best practice. We're not gonna get too head up about best practice, but like just generally, do you assign the inner context of HTML text in JavaScript here or in HTML? Aren't they both hard coded the same way? Um, and I think what this question's asking is if you've got the chance to set text, should you be setting it as an HTML element or should you be sort of injecting it from JavaScript? Like what you prefer if you have a choice?
Mhm.
Um, and I think I've got an answer,
Go for it.
which is if the text you're going to be using isn't changing, if it doesn't require that interactivity that JavaScript provides, just go ahead and make it HTML. It's not going to be a huge difference just with text, but it'll perform a bit better, so it'll be faster. It'll be more lightweight for your users. And really, you don't want to write unless you're very, very different than I am. You don't want to write code that you don't need to write.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I find there's a less of a chance for errors if I'm modifying as little HTML as possible.
Ooh, I like it. Monica's got one more good question. I mean, all of your questions are fantastic.
They're such good
Um,
questions.
Also, are these variable assignments inheriting from the object values?
What do you mean by inheriting, Monica? Let's take a look at these real quick. So the first variable we've assigned, right? Are all of our document elements. But I think you're referring to what we get when we get my favorite football team and here doing these object destructuring. So we're not inheriting per se. We are I would say assigning variables, sport, team. Sorry, no, let me try that again. We are declaring five, can I count? 4 variables here. They're called sport, team, year, and players. We are instantiating them with the corresponding values for the properties in this object. Now you're talking about the last couple variables before the arrow. This one here? Do you mean these ones here? So type of sport, team name, World Cup year, and head coach. These are the DOM elements we declared at the very beginning. I'm going to scroll up real quick. Here, see? These DOM elements. Now, if I scroll down again, so given that these are DOM elements, we're setting their individual text contents to be the values of these variables, which we destructured out of my favorite football team. And remember, what we're doing by destructuring, we're doing a shorthand, a shortcut for declaring and instantiating. I hope that answers your question. Jess, you're muted. Like software muted. Like in StreamYard, you're muted. There you go.
Sorry.
You're
Everything's
good.
wrong.
Everything's fine.
Well, I mean, as wrong as it gets. Fabulous. So we've had
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Can we
no,
just bring
no,
up
no.
Mitch's much better explanation than mine? We destructured the object into variables and then use those variables to populate fields on the page.
Do you know what? Do you know what? We should get Mitch to teach with you next year, so I can go on
I think
vacations.
that we should get Mitch to teach with you. I mean, he's explaining. He can replace me.
Or both of us. So we get all right. Who else are we follow? Mitch and Monica. We've got the alliteration. It sounds really good. They've shown up to all their classes. Do you know what? We'll just go ahead and get a rotating. No. So you're saying, oh, I need to know JavaScript first. I'll be like, I assure you, you don't. No, we'll bully each of you independently later. We won't.
I am so sorry, Jess.
But while I am being mean to people, I'm going to make you say goodbye. Your homework,
Wait, where are we
if you,
starting? Yeah,
their homework is to just chill,
tomorrow we're
right?
starting right here. Step
24.
24.
Like, because this is a little bit new. So we'll go over
Yeah.
this. And we'll go over, we won't do the whole thing unless we get really bored. But like, if it was me, this would be what it's like every day. But no homework today.
I will leave my meanness for another day.
It is a joy to get to learn with all of you. Thank you so much.
Have a good
Bye,
one,
team.
everybody.